Hello and welcome to the end of season prediction review from the Honest Football Podcast. I'm Craig Savage. With me, as always, is Charlie Betts and Daniel Cody. Back in August of the year before, we did predictions from the Championship, League One, League Two, National Leagues, North and South, and also Scotland and Northern Ireland. And now we're going to see how we actually got on overall. The rules obviously are it's 3 points if you guess the team in the correct position. 1 point if you guess the team that actually got up or relegated in the slot. And minus 3 points if you predict the team to go up, finished in the bottom three, or the team that's finished relegated got promoted. So we start off in the Championship. Looking at the slide now, it's Daniel who predicted Leeds to win the league, Bristol City second, and Brentford in the playoffs.
Ruined it.
I went for, you jinxed them, how many times I told you? I went for Leeds to win it, Fulham second, and West Brom for the playoffs. And Charlie went for West Brom to win it, Fulham second, and Stoke City in the playoffs. Stoke City finished a very respectable 15th place.
I am in your man Nathan Jones. That's where I misplaced it. But anyway, yeah.
Daniel, Bristol City finished 12th.
Fell away at the end, didn't they?
Yeah.
They were around there, weren't they, at one point?
You can see the table on the right-hand side there. You've got obviously Leeds winning the league, West Brom second place, and Brentford, you did predict them for third, but they lost out in the playoff finals for Fulham, who I predicted. They got promoted in the playoff final against Brentford. Looking down at the bottom of the table where you got very interesting come final day, Daniel predicted Hull for 22nd, Birmingham for 23rd, and Charlton 24th. I went for QPR 22nd, Wigan 23rd, and Millwall 24th. Millwall finished 8th in the Championship. Charlie also went for Millwall for 22nd, Wigan 23rd, and Barnsley 24th. Barnsley survived by a Wigan points deduction. Wigan obviously lost 12 points there.
That could have changed by the time this comes out. You never know. There might be another appeal to another independent body.
No, and Birmingham, they finished 20th. So not a
They
bad...
were so close to go down, Birmingham. But no, I'll tell you now, another 4 or 5 games they'd have gone. If that season had been a bit longer, they were in such awful form. But anyway.
Looking at League One, where it finished with a points per game. Obviously, this season, the COVID league seasons were stopped, apart from the Championship. So points per game mattered to our points per game predictions. Obviously, the top Portsmouth for Daniel, second were Ipswich and Sunderland. He predicted for the playoffs. I went for Sunderland to win it. Portsmouth second and Ipswich in the playoffs. Charlie went for Peterborough to win it. Sunderland second, Ipswich in the playoffs. Let's get started. Sunderland missed out on. They finished 8th overall points per game. Ipswich was as low as 11th. Very surprising.
They started there brilliantly, though. They were flying at the beginning of the season, Ipswich.
Yeah. And Portsmouth were finished 5th, were in the playoffs. Down at the bottom, Bury obviously got resigned from the league, so they actually finished in 24th. Bolton 23rd, Southend 22nd, and Tranmere 21st. So Cody went for Southend for 21st, Wickham for 22nd.
We all did well there, didn't we?
Wickham, we all tipped Wickham to go down, and they won the playoffs. They finished 3rd overall on the points per game, where they were outside the playoffs before that, which Peterborough were originally in the playoffs, but they lost out by points per game.
I predicted Peterborough because, they were flying at the beginning of the season as well. They put a brilliant run together and then just tapered off after Christmas.
And to be fair, Wickham were very good to us, so we're happy to see them doing well.
Yes, they were. Just looking at other teams, obviously, we all predicted Tranmere. Obviously, I went for Tranmere to go down. Obviously, Tranmere has been one of our teams of the season. They unfortunately got relegated from points per game, though, even though they're a couple of games in hand. They
did give us the best day out of the season, though.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did, away at Watford. Accrington, Charlie went for as well. They ended up in 17th place. So we lost 3 points on Wickham. Another Solihull Moors moment, isn't it?
We all went for the old heads, didn't we? Thought they wouldn't have the legs to get up to stay in the league.
But the 34, 35 game season helped with that.
Get the 46, they weren't going to make it, but 35.
They weren't going down, but they were sliding a bit, in fairness. As much as they did brilliantly to go up, they were sliding slightly beforehand.
Wickham beat Oxford in the playoff final. So congratulations to them. And no doubt we all predict them to go down in the Championship for the next season. Moving on to League Two, the final positions were Swindon won the league, Crewe second, Plymouth third. In the playoffs, Cheltenham fourth, Exeter fifth, Colchester sixth, Northampton seventh. And this is where it gets controversial again. Macclesfield get relegated from an extra point deduction, and Stevenage, who were bottom, survived, even though they were absolutely terrible. So
you'll be able to see a bit more of that a couple of days ago, Craig.
You will, if you click on the eye above, check our Macclesfield reaction to the relegation from the Football League. Anyway, moving on. Let's see what we predicted. So Daniel Cody, he went for Bradford to win the league. Bradford finished ninth. Plymouth, you went for second place, which obviously they finished third. Exeter, you went for third. They finished fifth. And in the playoffs, Colchester, who were in the playoffs, it lost out in the semi-final. So not a bad start for you there. 3 out of the 4 teams there, they were in the top 7, so not a bad start. I went for Northampton to win the league. They actually got promoted via the playoffs.
Lucky boy.
They smashed Exeter in the final because of Alan McCormack, who's now moved on. I went for Newport County to finish second. They actually finished in 14th. Forest Green Rovers, I went for third. Very surprisingly, ended up in 10th. And Mansfield for the playoffs, who were very disappointed in 21st. Charlie also went for Bradford City to go up as champions. And he also went for Mansfield for second. A very surprising thing, he went for Salford to finish third. They ended up finishing 11th, so it's not a very good first season in the Football League for them. And in the playoffs, you very, very lucky boy, Charlie, went for Stevenage for the playoffs. I don't know. I can't remember why you went for Stevenage.
What I went for was that everyone had written them off, and I thought they had that lad they'd signed from non-league, Sporting Bromsgrove, and obviously your favourite ex-Luton player, whose name's literally just escaped me.
Scott Cuthbert.
Scott Cuthbert, that's the one, sorry, yeah. And I just went for that, and it obviously blew up in my face because they win 3 and 36 across the whole season.
Looking at our relegation predictions, because Bury resigned from League One, that means only one team got relegated from League Two. So 23rd place is now redundant. So Cody went for Cambridge United to finish 23rd, which they ended up in 16th.
But it doesn't matter now.
And you went for Macclesfield to go down, and by luck or just unfortunate that you actually got 3 points for that one. I went for Port Vale. Don't know why I went for Port Vale. They ended up in 8th. And Grimsby, which was getting certain until a certain Mr. Ian Holloway arrived at the club, they ended up in 15th. Charlie also went for Cambridge and Macclesfield to get relegated. So obviously nothing for Cambridge, but 3 points for Charlie on Macclesfield. Moving on to the National League. Barrow won the National League and fully deserved, and congratulations to them. First time back in the Football League for over 4 years. Great to see him. Harrogate Town finished second and promoted. They beat Notts County in the final. New club in the EFL, and the 3G pitch is now being dug up, and the grass is getting laid down there. Congratulations to them. Really looking forward to them to see how they do in the EFL next season. Notts County finished third, Yeovil fourth, Bournemouth fifth, SC Halifax sixth, and Barnet, who before the points per game were 11th, ended up in the playoffs in 7th. Down at the bottom, Chorley finished rock bottom. ASC Fylde, 23rd, very disappointing season for them. Ebbsfleet, 22nd, and Maidenhead, 21st. So let's have a look who we predicted. Daniel went for Torquay for his FM save. Check that. It's FM out on
too much loyalty.
Yeah, Torquay finished 15th, so it's a very good season back in the National League for Torquay. And Chesterfield for the playoffs. Considering that I was Chesterfield manager and got them promoted as champions, they end up in 19th. So I think they'll happily take that because they've been struggling all season. Yeah. Me and Charlie. Oh, I went for Chesterfield to get promoted as well. See that my loyalty, Chesterfield. My loyalty. Me and Charlie, unfortunately, after watching ASC Fylde in the FA Trophy final, thought they look good. They look really good. So we thought we'll go for them to win it. They ended up 23rd.
We didn't bank on them selling their 2 best players in Danny Rowe and then was it Youssef as well? Not Youssef. What's his name?
Yeah, I know who you're on about. But yes.
We didn't bank on them being sold. They sold them and they just went to pot. So
I mean, with respect for predicting them as champions, you should lose about 10 points. To be brutally honest.
if they'd have those 2 lads, they'd have won it. Okay, I'll stand by that.
Charlie also went for Tim Flowers' Solihull Moors. His head was turned from the Tim Flowers effect. Unfortunately, Tim Flowers got the sack halfway through the season, which was very surprising. It was
harsh.
It was very harsh. They were in the playoffs at the time. Solihull, finished in 8th place. Down at the bottom, let's see what we predicted. 21st place for Daniel Cody was Notts County. Oh, you got away with that one as well.
I mean, I thought it was going to be off the pitch issues that got them, as I said. And thankfully, it looks like they've got really good owners in now. So I hope to see them back in a year's time.
22nd, you went for Chorley. 23rd, Aldershot. And 24th, Maidenhead. Obviously, Maidenhead finished 21st. Chorley finished drop one. Aldershot finished in 16th.
That's not bad.
Not bad. I went for Aldershot for 21st. FC 22nd, which is spot on. Sutton United. Me and Charlie both went for Sutton United for 23rd place. They ended up in 14th.
Was never going to happen.
And Maidenhead for drop one. They finished 21st. Charlie went for Chorley. 21st, SC Halifax have reached the playoffs. Sutton United in 23rd and Maidenhead 24th. So obviously we haven't worked out the point system yet until the very end. And it's actually quite interesting. I'm very surprised by it.
It's tight between
you. Close. I think it's going to be
I don't think you robbing me of a point this year will make a blind bit of difference like it did last year.
Let's move on to the National League North. It ended up Kings Lynn, who we all predicted to get relegated just
and finish bottom.
Because of geographical reasons. Only bloody went on to win the league, didn't they?
Can I put a caveat on this? If anyone seriously put a decent amount of money, we don't condone gambling, if they've done that on them winning the league, then I'd like to come and meet me. Because to be honest, I cannot believe that anyone would have predicted that in the world of football.
One more caveat as well, and I really am delighted for Kings Lynn. They did a brilliant job. They had a great season. But I honestly believe if that season had finished, that York City would have won the league. Maybe, I know that's ifs and buts, but
maybe ifs and buts. But just going back to the Charlie's gambling thing. If you do gamble, please gamble responsibly. Anyway, so Kings Lynn won it. Obviously, second place was York. Third place, Boston. Fourth place, Brackley Town. So the two southern teams were actually done quite well. Altrincham in 5th, who won the playoff final. Chester 6th, Gateshead 7th. Down the bottom, there was no relegation in National Leagues North and South, so there'll be no points for anyone. Because very lucky. Once again, Daniel Cody is very lucky because Blythe Spartans were 21st and Bradford Park Avenue were 22nd. And Daniel Cody predicted Blythe Spartans to win the league.
Hooray.
You went for Chester for the playoffs. They did end up in the playoffs, but they lost out. I went for York City to win it for the Steve McNulty effect, which they lost in the quarterfinals. No, semi-finals they lost it. Finishing second. And Kidderminster Harriers, I went for the playoffs. They ended up in 16th. Charlie also went for York City to win the league. But he went for Altrincham to win the playoffs.
Wow.
And he done well. Didn't he do well?
We have a new non-league football connoisseur.
Yes.
As you can tell from the previous 24 predictions, that was blind luck. That had nothing to do with that. But yeah, sorry, God.
Down the bottom, me and Daniel Cody both went for Gloucester to get finished 21st, but they end up in 19th. And Charlie went for Leamington Spa. They end up in 17th. So, well, around the area. So not too bad. Looking at National League South, though, Wealdstone won the league. Congratulations to them. They moved to the National League. Second place was having a Waterlooville. Weymouth finished 3rd. They got promoted via the playoffs, so it's a back-to-back promotion for them. Congratulations to them. Bath, 4th. Slough Town, 5th. Dartford, 6th. And Dorking were 7th. So a brilliant first season for them, for Dorking, losing out in the playoffs for them. Down the bottom, obviously no relegation as well. Braintree, who very surprisingly, 21st, and Hungerford Town. Obviously, you have spoken to the former Hungerford manager. Obviously, he got sacked halfway through the season, and but Hungerford survived in the National League South. So let's have a look what we predicted. So actually, all three of us, looks like, has predicted having Waterlooville to win it. They lost it via the playoffs. So let's have a look on the playoff teams. Billericay for Daniel Cody. What was your thoughts of Billericay?
I tried to right a wrong from last year, and I thought with Glenn Tampling gone off the pitch, it would be normality resumed, but it looks like more of a rebuilding year last year.
Yeah, Jamie O'Hara was in charge over there. They finished 18th, Billericay. I went for Maidstone United. The John Steele effect. I was like, yeah, go John Steele. They ended up in 9th. I was really surprised for that. Charlie went for Hemel.
I'll be honest, the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season, it looked like an unbelievable pick because they were flying. I don't think they might have even lost the first 7 or something like that. And then they just completely nosedived. So it wasn't that.
Well, they were in the playoffs when we went to watch them over Christmas against Slough. Yeah. It was a playoff clash. Me and Craig went to watch, and they just fell away after the New Year.
Yeah, Hemel in the end finished 11th. So a new rebuild for them, a new 4G pitch for them as well. So I hope they might make some money for not a nice area. Anyway, looking down at the bottom, Hungerford is what me and Cody predicted for 21st. It obviously finished 22nd. And Tunbridge Angels, we both predicted as well for 22nd. They end up in 20th. Charlie went for Hampton and Richmond for the relegation for 21st, sorry, and they finished in 8th. He also went for Tunbridge Angels. Moving north of the border.
It falls away for me.
So Celtic won the league, 9 in a row for them, and they fully deserved it. Rangers didn't get close really. At one point, they were still celebrating their win at Celtic Park, and they lost their way. So looking at the table for them, Celtic was on the league, Rangers 2nd, Motherwell 3rd, Aberdeen 4th, Livingston 5th, St Johnstone 6th, Hibs 7th, Kilmarnock 8th, St Mirren 9th, Ross County 10th, Hamilton 11th, and Hearts down at the bottom. A disastrous season for Hearts. So looking at the order, obviously Cody went for Rangers to win the league. Me and Charlie both went for Celtic. Down at the bottom, Cody went for Livingston. Obviously he finished 5th. St Mirren for 12th. They finished 9th. I went for Hamilton 11th, which I've just ruined myself right now because obviously there was no relegation playoff. So nil point for me, and also went for St Mirren to finish last as well. Charlie went for St Mirren for 11th and Hamilton 12th. So no points for him at all. Moving on to Northern Ireland, Charlie's favourite league.
It's an entertaining league. Come on.
I would say, but
the cup final was very entertaining the end of the week. It was very entertaining.
I know nothing about it, unfortunately. But anyway, go on.
And our cup final predictions were epic.
We all predicted Linfield to win the league, and we got that 100%. And they did win the league. Sorry, they did win the league. Let's have a look at their table. Linfield top, Coleraine 2nd, Crusaders 3rd, Cliftonfield 4th, Glentoran 5th, Larne 6th, Glenarvan 7th, Carrick Rangers 8th, Dungannon Swifts 9th, Ballymena 10th. Wow. Yeah, that's a really surprised me. Warren Point 11th and Institute were relegated. So looking at what we predicted, Warren Point 11th for Cody, obviously spot on, and Carrick Rangers 12th, 8th. Either Carrick Rangers 11th and Warren Point 12th. And Institute 11th for Charlie and Carrick Rangers 12th. So we only got, no points. Just the 3 points for the Linfield. So the scores have been totaled up and we'll go through each round. So the championship points-wise, Daniel Cody got 5, myself on 6, and Charlie 6. League 1, Daniel Cody got 0. I got 6.
Oh.
Charlie, -1.
That's where it's won and lost.
League
That was
2.
Wickham.
League 2. Daniel Cody has 4. Myself, 1. Charlie, 3.
Oh.
National League. Daniel Cody on 2. Myself on 1. And Charlie Betts on -1. In the National League North, myself and Daniel Cody get -3 points, but Charlie gets 0 points.
That's a victory in that round.
That's a massive victory for you there. In National League South, we all got nothing. In Scotland, Daniel Cody gets nothing. Myself and Charlie get 3. And in Northern Ireland, we all get 3. So
I can't have won.
overall, in
Lost
third place, is Daniel Cody on 11 points.
What
a turnaround from last year.
In second place, with 14 points,
That was Rangers that done you.
it's Charlie Betts.
Oof. Is that Rangers run?
What a coincidence. Craig's added up the scores and won the round.
And overall, on 17 points, despite a -3 difference for the National League North, it's myself on 17 points. So I will happily take your crown, Mr. Daniel Cody. And when it comes to the 2020-2021 season, I will say I won last year. And those are predictions. What do you think of our predictions from last year? Are we absolutely stupid, like we said back in last August? And you can say us in the comments, but be nice.
It's hard, to be fair. It was points per game most of the leagues. We can't take all of the criticism for it.
No. There'll be more points if for the relegated teams from the National League North and South. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. You can follow us on Twitter @HonestFootball3. And we'll see you for the next season.